Welcome back to Good Moms, Bad Choices.
I'm Erica.
And I'm Mila.
Happy Wednesday, bitches.
What it do? How are you?
I'm great. I feel like Ariel.
You look like Ariel.
It's giving Rihanna 2000.
That was my favorite Rihanna.
17?
That was my favorite Rihanna when she was doing like kind of house music and she was flirting with Drake.
Is this when I found love in a hopeless
It was that, but it was also that other good one like, oh my God.
That was the era, right?
That was
when
the
the
era.
redhead
That was the
Rihanna
era, yeah.
came out. It's also when she was like the face of
Work,
Vita
work,
Coco
work,
or some
work,
shit.
work.
No, her hair wasn't red then. It wasn't. I remember that Drake
but
video.
it had just went black. She had just turned
It was
over
like
black.
a ashy brown.
She was almost done with Drake, but not quite. She was still.
Could you imagine if Rihanna was still with Drake? She was gonna eat that man alive. Remember that?
I
Remember
think
that award show where she was fucking so embarrassed by him, where he went up and like was like saying all this nice shit about her, and then he was giving her like a life achievement award. I don't know why they had Drake do it, and he was basically like
flirting with her, right?
Flirting, like just sucking her dick, and she was like, "Thanks."
It probably
I think that was the end of their relationship.
It probably would have done him some good. I think she would have probably grounded him a bit, and now I think there's no hope.
What is she? She's a Pisces.
She's a Pisces.
And he's a Scorpio.
He is a Scorpio.
It could have worked, but he's a toxic Scorpio, I feel.
Well, I think he's toxic because he's had too much pussy and he has too much money and he's lost his shit. I have not me having a
Drake theory?
A Drake theory. I just feel like he's too gone. You have to be so famous and have so much money and to be like mediocre cute and have the best lyrics in the game for fucking 15 years straight. It goes to your head, you know. He needs someone to ground his ass down, like chill the fuck out.
But it's too late. No one's gonna ground him.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Rihanna was like, I don't have time for this.
I'm a Hollywood strategist.
I don't have time.
Because I'm from Hollywood. I know all the theories. Just ask me any theory. Ask me. Which theory would you like? Who do you want to know?
Did Diddy actually put it in Cat Williams? No, I'm just kidding.
Cat Williams would never allow this.
Who did Cat Williams really not take the $50 million?
Never. He didn't take it. I know for a fact. I know for a fact Cat Williams didn't take any.
Not even
money.
just the tip.
No.
All right. Well, thanks for clearing that up. Really appreciate that.
You're welcome. Any more Hollywood, true Hollywood, uncensored news? Ask me.
Make sure you email production at goodmomsbadchoices.com.
I'm so excited to get the fuck out of here and go to the fucking jungle.
Amen, Jesus.
Where's my braids? Pack my bags up. I feel like excited to go away. You know what? I realize what it is. We haven't been to Costa Rica in a year, and usually we're there at least
been a year.
Yeah, it's every 6 months, but we haven't gone because we were in Mexico.
Wow.
So that's why we're like, where's our what's this? That's what it is.
I'm going 4 times this year.
Lucky you.
I'm very excited. God said you need to go 4 times, bitch, and I said yes, God, I will be there.
You know, when I was younger, I was like, I want to be busy like the people like on TV. And then now I'm an adult and I look at my calendar. I'm like, oh my, I could plan out the whole 12 months. I can already see every month I'm going to be out of town. I'm like, this is crazy. And then today I sent you a beautiful video on Instagram
of Jamaican men massaging.
No, bitch, that was not Jamaican. That was African men.
Ooh.
They were in Ghana.
Ooh.
They were in Ghana getting massaged by beautiful Ghanaian, is that they're called? Ghanaian men shirtless by a waterfall. It was like the Jamaican men times up. It was like Wakanda.
Wow.
So
we're going.
Yeah.
But where in our calendar? Have you figured it out?
It's either going to be
maybe June. Fuck, I'm going to be in Costa Rica.
I know it's going to be.
Maybe I can fly from Costa Rica to Africa.
That might work.
Okay.
It's either going to be June, November, or December.
Got it.
Can't even do November. It's going to be June or December.
So end of the year.
July.
End of the year we're getting massages in Ghana.
Can we do July?
No, we have a retreat in July.
No, we don't. It's in August.
Okay.
Now we will go from Africa to Costa Rica. Anyway, the point is, the next retreat's in Ghana because I saw the men and they massage under a waterfall. That's all you need to know.
Okay, perfect. I'm there.
Perfect. Any new news you want to tell the people? Any pressing news that the people just must know about Erica this week?
Pressing news. No.
Well, I learned something new this week. It's dark, so just bear with me. We're going to go dark. We're going to go right back light.
Okay.
Erica insisted we start the I Was Today Years Old segment. So now when I learn new things, I'm like, let me write this down. This week I learned that the Catholic Church has spent like between $300 and $700 billion in hush money. Billion.
Whoa. I'm not shocked.
Where do they get all this money? Who's working? Like,
what do you mean? Penance.
They get paid hourly for the Catholics? Like, the offerings.
The offerings. All the offerings of all around the world.
You know, that's a cult that made it. That is a motherfucking successful cult there. You got $300 bill to throw at the disgruntled employees who are doing fuck shit.
Wow, that's dark.
That's really dark. Sorry. You should know that most of my shit's going to be dark that I learned because I'm searching the dark web to get the news to you.
You're on the dark spectrum?
I'm on the dark web so I can get the news to the people. You know I'm with that fucking, what is it called? Conspiracy shit. But it's not conspiracy. It's real.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. Now back to the light.
Okay. Woo. How are you?
I'm feeling better now we got out of there.
Okay, great. Well, I'm going to bring a light onto our show right now.
Let's do that.
Okay. We have a special guest today, you guys. We have Krista. She is a spiritual teacher, a healer, and the founder of Almost 30. Welcome to our show, Krista.
Oh my God, I was like biting my hands. I wanted to speak so much.
Speak.
We've been talking for hours, and then you guys just talking on your own. I was like, guys, I'm still here. Like, let me get in on this.
Such a podcaster.
I was like laughing. I was like,
you can laugh. Podcasters always have to get their word
Vatican
in.
fucking crazy. I think the Vatican City is the most, and the Vatican is the most, has the most wealth per capita of anything else in the world. Like any other country in the world, like owns the most money, like manages and moves the most money.
Wow.
It's so crazy.
They're printing money over there.
Printing money.
Wow.
I mean, because they own a lot of the banks. Like they work with, they don't get taxed for anything. It's really
So the Catholic Church owns a lot of the banks.
Yeah.
I told you the most successful cult in the world.
100% agree.
Yeah.
And they do weird cult shit. You like eat the body of Christ. You drink the blood.
I know.
I grew up Catholic in Ohio. Shit's weird.
I went to Catholic school, and so did she. The Christians are always coming for the witches, but it's very similar.
It's very
Oh
Van Beetle.
my gosh. What do you mean? Yes.
Okay, I have a question, you guys. Do you believe in exorcism?
Yeah.
Do I believe that it should happen or that it happens?
Both.
I believe that it's real. Do you?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just wondering what you.
No,
I believe in it. I believe.
Yeah, you're like, do you need one?
I have a girl.
Yeah, honestly, I do have a girl actually. Her
Well,
name's, she's in Mexico and she speaks no English.
I
have
know
a bitch. She's
I know
crazy.
someone also who does exorcisms, but he's actually friends with Cam. But I also have another theory that I learned at Tantra school, and I know you're in Tantra school right now, so you can tell me in a year if you agree with this. But I think that you can exorcist through the yoni or the lingam, like yoni mapping or like lingam mapping. I feel like you can like get release and like dark spirits
Through the pussy.
through the pussy. Yeah,
I mean, it sounds right.
I mean, it sounds about right.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
It makes
also-
sense, right?
I also think too, there's
You
like
put the things in there through the pussy.
you put the darkness in
darkness
there.
in there. Yeah.
I get the darkness back out.
I just want
Yeah.
to make sure we're all on the same page here.
I do feel like with exorcisms, is like there's levels because some people just have negative entities, thought forms, beings, and they don't even really know it.
Right.
You can have negative guides. You can have negative, like, spirits that are with you that aren't always bad, but aren't always good.
Right.
And so the exorcism's kind of like the far end of demonic stuff. But I've seen people where I'm like, oh, you're not a human. You're like a demon.
Like you can
form.
see it.
Yes. Like you've seen their eyes where it's fucking weird. And I don't know if it's as far as like exorcism, but some people need them entities off their bodies.
Yeah.
I dated someone like that.
100%.
Guess who's coming to a city near you?
Us bitches. That's right. We're going back on tour with Confessions of a Good Mom.
Are you ready to confess your dirty little secret?
Are you ready to have the ultimate girls' night or date night? We're hitting Philly, Washington, D.C., Atlanta, New York, Charlotte, Houston, and Dallas. And we cannot wait to turn up with you guys.
If you haven't been to a Good Mom show, it is epic. It is fun. It is debauchery. It is a night of freedom, pleasure, and celebration and connection. And do all the things you wouldn't do Monday through Friday.
We are giving you the ultimate girls' night, the ultimate date night. So bring your lover, don't be shy, and come hang out with us in your city. Click the link in this episode description and do not miss out. We're going to be in Philly on March 13th, Washington, D.C. on the 14th, New York on the 16th, Atlanta on March 21st, Charlotte March 22nd, Houston April 18th, and finishing our tour in Dallas on April 19th.
This ain't like any other live podcast show you've been to, so get your hoochie gear, get your ladies, or come alone and come shake some ass.
And as healers, like we want to like do light. We want to like bring the light in.
Oh my God,
We
that's
wanna,
the
like,
whole thing where they get you.
So fucked
Those
up.
hot demons.
Oh God, I
They're
love
like,
Well, they have to be
heal
hot.
me.
If
God,
they look like
they have to be
themselves,
hot.
we
a
wouldn't.
6 foot hot demon. Sign me
Yeah.
up.
It kind of sounds
That's
kind of
Scorpio
sounds like a
shit.
porn category.
That's Scorpio shit. Yeah, literally.
Is it a Halloween porn?
Yeah,
Daddy?
like exorcism demon category.
Two dick demon? What?
Actually, okay. There's this guy that I met on Field App. Have you done Field App?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay, so Field App, and he's saying that one of the girls that he met on Field App wants him to hold, or she holds a teddy bear while he fucks her with a demon mask on.
Wait.
Wait, like she's holding it?
Yeah. okay.
I'm like, oh no,
I'm going to tell that story slower. Okay, so he's like, we're talking about like meeting up with people. He's like, I met up with this chick, and her fetish was like, she holds a teddy bear while he fucks her wearing a demon mask.
So what did she
like
say?
Okay, I get it. No, but I get it. It's because like she wants to be like a scared little girl.
Yes.
Like, and then like the demon comes and creeps up like in her bed in the middle of the night, like creeps out of the closet. And,
I'm
like,
kind of with
fucks her.
it. I'm kind of with it.
I knew y'all would be.
I'm kind of into it also.
It doesn't even have to be October. I'm with it all year round.
I don't need a teddy bear though.
What would you do then?
But I
then
have
that's
one.
the whole thing. What would you hold?
I
You need to be a little
We're
girl.
moms. We have plenty.
Maybe a pill. I don't know. Maybe like a fight. I'm like, no.
You can't like go to the closet and like grab the demon. Yeah.
Get off, demon.
Yeah.
Stop!
Yeah.
Stop!
Well, when I
This is like my real life. This is what we do in real life. Me and Orlando do so much weird shit over there.
But do you know what? When
Awesome.
I was doing lots of bondage weird shit with my ex, he had a demon mask. It wasn't a demon.
Wait,
it was,
you never talking about the
it
demon
wasn't
mask.
necessarily a demon.
You're welcome.
But it was a mask that was bedazzled all red.
Oh, it was red.
It was all red rhinestones, which gave devil energy. And I remember when he put it on because I wasn't expecting it because I was like blindfolded, and then like he finally took my blindfold off, and I looked back and he was like rhinestone.
I'd be like, are you Beyonce? Like, it's like a little too extra for me. Rhinestones, like just put on plastic masks.
Either
like,
demon or a burglar.
Yeah. Like it's like either it's carnival or like it's not. Like
You're confusing my mind.
100%.
The festivities
Like,
are
are you a
confused
woman?
now.
He was a sparkly devil.
What did he have? Was he
garter
naked?
and like belts.
He didn't have a shirt on. I mean, yeah, he probably was
The rhinestones hitting my skin too. Like
I feel like he needs more muscles for that outfit.
I don't know.
said it.
I mean, at the time, I'm not gonna lie, I was in it.
Did you like?
liked
Did
it.
you like? Did she like growl? Did he growl? Was it like a
yeah, like what does a demon do?
No, no, there was
us
no
what is a demon
growling. It was.
doing.
He didn't really talk much. It was more about like making sure that I was like restraint, and,
quiet
like,
dominance?
Yeah,
So he put on the mask. You turned around, then he was like this.
I couldn't see him. I mean, I don't know what his face was like.
What do you mean?
I couldn't see. I don't know. It was great though, and it gave me devil energy, and I was into it. So
Okay.
I mean, I kind of resonate with this girl's fantasy. I'm not gonna lie.
I literally
feel
was
ya.
like, yo, hey,
I feel
only you
you.
guys.
Is that what Field is for? Like
Field is crazy.
I know Field, but I didn't even. Think
I didn't
like,
have any luck on Field, but I was on there with my partner.
I went on one date.
I've never been well, I have been on Field by myself, and it was interesting, but I've never been out on a date. But recently, a few different people were like, "You have to join Field. I'm having the best experiences," and I was like,
Who?
Really?
Krista, I'm kind of surprised that you were on Field. I didn't know you had like a freaky side. So like, can you tell us you're like what? Because they have all those.
You don't have to be freaky to be on Field. There's vanilla over there too.
Oh yeah, those are one of the boxes,
Okay, bitch.
right?
Who says I'm vanilla?
I'm just saying.
Why you can be a plain, boring white girl too on Field.
Why would you go over there to be a plain board? Like, why would you go there?
So that's what I realized. Okay, so I got divorced. It's been a year, and I'm like, girl, need to get back in my groove, and I'm back in the groove. But now I'm like, yo, all I want to do is like fuck. Like I don't want to be in a relationship. Like I don't want to be married. I don't want to do that. So I'm like, all I want to do is like fuck people. And so my friends were like, you should get on Field. So I get on Field. And yeah, I mean, I'm like, all I want to do is fuck. And then they're like, you want to fuck? I'm like, no, take me out. I'm like,
I want to eat, and then I want to
yeah,
fuck.
I'm like, I want you to see me as your wife. Like, and that's my thing. I have this problem where I want every man to see me as like his wife, even if I don't want to see him as my husband. I have this like thing
It's like
where
the honor.
Yes.
that
You want like girlfriend treatment all the time,
Yes.
like wife treatment.
I want like wife like I want you to be like, oh my, take me out and all this stuff. And so I was like trying to break that on Field. I was like, I want him to just see me as like a fuck. And so I went on one date and we like made out. And I was like, he's like, do you want to go home? I'm like, no.
Were you giving fuck energy? Like, did you
No.
go in there like with a pep talk? Like, I'm gonna
I
get
was
that
trying.
fuck energy.
I was trying. I was like, okay, we're gonna do this. But like, he was really short, and I just don't fuck short.
I
So
don't
if he was
fuck
tall,
short.
I would. I've done it, to be honest. Everyone's got their own thing. For me, it's just I'm tall. I'm not little, so it's just my preference. So I didn't end up doing it.
You know what they say about the little guys?
What? Big slongs?
Sometimes, yeah.
I would love that.
Sometimes they surprise you and you're like, oh, you know what? I love them short.
It's fact.
Yeah.
I'm
Then you get all
But
fucked
it was
up.
interesting, too, to, like, meet up and be like, yo, we're talking about what we like in bed. The whole time, like, we talked about it. It was, like, really nice to be open about that. But I was like, I don't know if this is for me yet.
He thought he was going to get some pussy that
Oh, yeah,
night.
bitch. He was like, every time I talked, he was like, tell this bitch to shut up. You know when they're just looking at you?
Oh,
and
like,
they're
he's like, I didn't care about
horny?
any of that.
We made out and he was literally like grabbing my titties. I was like, is this what you do when you like make out in a parking lot? It's like, whatever. But yeah, I want to be like more freaky, but I'm like easing my way into it.
So you said you were divorced. You've been divorced for 1 year.
1 year.
What has been like the process of like
Coming
back from divorce? Because you were in your relationship for how long?
10 years.
That's a
That
really
was
long.
one dick for 10 years. You guys.
Wow.
So
So you
then-
like
Didn't cheat.
I love you. You couldn't even say the word.
Honestly, you never just, you know,
never like made out or
never, no.
fell onto it.
Yeah, just like,
Oh no. Oh no.
No, I never. This was the only boyfriend I never cheated on. I was always in my vibe with that, and he became my husband. But like, and too, when you're with someone, you're like fucking, you're just in each other's energy so much. You're responding to each other that I was just different. Like I was so much more shut down sexually than I think I ever had been. And I loved our sex, but it wasn't like as deep or as soulful or as curious as I wanted to be. And I didn't realize till I got older. I was like, oh, I want to try a lot of new things. But where I grew up in Ohio and where he grew up, it's like, you don't do that.
He's also from Ohio.
Yeah. Or he's from the East Coast, like small town. Like there'd be times where he'd come and he'd be like, sorry. You know, like you have shame and guilt.
Because it came too fast? Or
No, just because you have shame and guilt.
Well, there's a lot of religious
Or, like,
programs.
exactly.
And a lot of men are not up for the, like, they don't even, I guess because their shame and guilt shows up differently. They're not as, like, they're not digging deep into, like, let's go explore some shit because there's so many walls put up. They're supposed to be good at it already. They're supposed to be freaky. Like, even to discuss anything outside of the heteronormative, whatever, like, especially if you're coming from, like, a religious family, it's hard to think about those things.
And like Midwest is just very, you know, like that. So it was like I didn't have that much. So now that I'm like back, and I took like we've probably been divorced for 1.5 years, and I took like a year when I was like just wanted to be me and be in my own energy and heal and do all that. And now that I'm back, I'm like, yo, it is the fucking best dating.
Do you think that when you decided to get married, like, because that was like what, 2.5 years ago, did you know at that point there's something more that I want to explore that it's not being fulfilled here, and then you did it despite knowing better?
Yeah. And I think he would say the same thing. Like, out of respect for him, I think we both thought we were... So when you're together for 10 years, you have ebbs and flows in any relationship. I just thought we were in a bad moment when we got married. I was like, oh, we're going to be better. It's going to be fine. But there was a lot that I wasn't fulfilled in. But also, I didn't see relationships that were, like, deeply fulfilling on all levels.
I don't think most people do.
Most people do. Like, my parents, like, fucking hated each other.
So you're like, oh, this is marriage.
I was like, yeah, we hate each other.
We're doing
Right.
great.
This is perfect.
We hide ourselves. This is right. Like,
Right.
we hang out Sundays, watch football. So I didn't understand, too, that, like, what I wanted in relationships was different and I could change it. And I had a lot of shame around my sexuality, too. Like, I had a lot of sexual trauma that I didn't really address and didn't really heal. And that was something I really had to go into before I felt like I could be in my own body in relationship to a man and feel, like, safe with my yes, safe with my no, safe with my pleasure, and everything like that.
That's so true. And I think a lot of people underestimate, like, having examples of healthy relationships that you want to, like, even if you're not in a relationship, like having friends or having like examples of relationships that you want to at least like resemble. Because I think sometimes too, like, even I feel like prior to my relationship, I would be on, you know this, I talk about this a lot. We talk about this a lot, like online, bitches online, like, I'm so in love. But I think it's because it's curated and it's fake and it irritated me, and I'd be like,
Yeah, be like, shut the fuck
he's
up.
cheating on you.
Yeah, literally.
I really, and then they break up, like, knew it.
Yeah.
But I also noticed, just because I've been there, and I think because sometimes it is fake and probably my own personal things, but like our parents not having healthy relationships, not being able to, we're just thinking like, oh, you get married and you stop fucking and that's the norm. But I think like also as like single women, because I feel like there's maybe like, it feels like there's a scarcity of good guys, women don't really want to be around people in happy relationships. You know what I mean? It's like even being in this relationship that I'm in and it feels super healthy and happy and I feel like huge about it, or I'm like, my boyfriend, and I realize like maybe like even in my friend circles when things are not going good for everybody, I'm like, let me just keep my shit to myself because
babe,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like nobody wants to hear this, but because there's so
you.
many people choose to be in problematic relationships so often because it's our norm.
Yeah, it's the norm. And then you talk about it as friends.
Yeah,
it's the best.
You're
like, oh, who's got their issues? And we're all like coming together, talking about when you come in, you're like, everything's really good. I love my man. He's really good to me. It's like boring. Bitch.
Yeah, bitch. Like
come back later.
Don't invite them.
Yeah, honestly, come back
They're
when you
gonna be
have
so
problems, honey.
But I'm like, I realize like that is something we have to kind of like shift our mind around
100%.
because like that's crazy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy that we're that way. And it's like, and I was hanging out with a couple that literally like changed, like I had this whole week long, like I thought they were going to try and three-way me, but it was like a spiritual awakening. Like, but she was like, when I was single, I was a unicorn for this really healthy couple and they were always giving me this energy and I really enjoyed that. And I realized, I was like, oh, I need to be around a couple that I really want to mirror that relationship. And then literally like a week later, my boyfriend came to and met me there. And that's been how it's been. But I realized like our mind frames around that are so skewed as women. It's like we watch the movies and we watch Disney movies and we're like, I want that. And we're like, yep. But then around in personal settings, we're like, I know. That's annoying. And I've done it. You know, like, you think they're really happy?
Well, we always, like, women are always kind of checking each other. You know, like, it sucks, but, and I don't feel like I'm in that now, but, like, so much of our lives is, like, don't be too much, you know, like, don't be, oh, she's talking so much about her work, like, she's blah, 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 like, talking about so much about her relationship. And it's so sad because we should be able to meet with women that we love on like their joy and their happiness. And like, it's only since I've gotten older that I've been able to be in relationship with women that like are almost as happy or even happier for me than I am. Like, it's like the best feeling. And when my friends, like one of my friends called me yesterday, something happened that was so good for her, I was like bawling. I couldn't even believe it. I was like, I can't believe how good God is. And you want that. You know what I mean? You want that because you're never going to have a relationship in your life that you love if you can't support your friends in like a good one. But it is easy to be like, fuck, shut the fuck up.
I mean, but also I realize like, because I'm really happy, even when things are like not the greatest, but I'm around people who I love but are constantly complaining about the same shit. It's almost like I have a time. I'm like, okay. And then I start to check out.
100%.
And then I'm trying to leave and I feel bad about it. But it's like, the frequency thing, you know?
I always think like a lot of people don't want to have their problem solved. Like a lot of people have the same neural pathways of complaining and bitching about whatever the fuck forever. And they actually don't want to have a solution. They actually like to be in that problem. So it's like they're just bitching about their husband, boyfriend, whatever for 100 years. And it's like their norm. And I don't think they realize that they could probably change it, but it's like just how they live.
I grew up in a household like that. I saw my mom do that for years, and I was like, "You've got to shut the fuck up." And I think I became a woman that was like, "I'm not getting married. I'm not going to complain about the same shit." And I'm very like, "What's the solution? So what are you going to do?"
Yeah.
I only have like a 3-limit conversation pattern. Like I really don't. I'm lying. You know, takes bitches more than 3 conversations. But I realized that that's where that like. Come on, let's hurry up and move out of this cycle. Because I see women fuck themselves so often and fuck up their potential staying in relationships too fucking long that diminish them and then they are dead, you know, spiritually. So like even for you after 10 years, what was like the final straw that was like, okay, you know what? I know it's been 10 years. Yeah.
I want to hear yours too of your long one. I know that was like a deep one. Oh, yeah. And it's interesting too because it's maybe similar where your friends see but you don't see, and you really have to see for yourself. And that's what I'm grateful for my relationship ending because it's given me grace for that because I literally didn't see the patterns we were in until the very last years, and I was like, what the fuck, like this is so bad. But I remember one time it was like our anniversary, and you know how fucking when you're in a relationship on anniversaries, Valentine's Day, vacations, you fight. Is that normal or is that just me?
Oh my God, no. I remember, oh my God, my baby, like the first trip after I had my daughter. We went on this beautiful trip, and we got in the most epic fight ever. I threw a lamp at the door. I think maybe he tried to strangle me. I don't know. It was crazy.
but if you can fight on vacation, that is telling.
Nuts. It was crazy.
I just remember it was like all the times that were supposed to be really good, we would fucking fight.
I think maybe because it's riddled with expectation too.
Yes, and the pressure, and I just remember like. It was always a situation where I felt like I had to be perfect. Like I had to say the perfect thing or say the right thing. Or I never felt like I could just be myself. And I was like sitting on the edge of my bed and it was just like God spoke to me and God was like, I was bawling. And at the end of our relationship, I had committed to being super open-hearted. I was like, I'm going to fucking go for it. I'm going to go so hard. I'm going to be super open-hearted and try and make this work. And God was like, for the right person, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be yourself. And it was like, those moments where it's so clear. I was like, that's not my voice. That's someone else's. And I just felt like that. I was like, yeah, there's something where I'm trying so hard for something that should be easier. And relationships don't have to be easy, but it was too much of that. And I knew in that moment, I was like, you know what? We've been trying a little bit too hard because you guys know in relationships, it's like, what is normal hard? Because relationships are hard. But like, what is when you're not compatible? Like, what is too much hard?
Right.
So we were trying to figure that out. But yeah, that was probably the moment where I was like, okay, we need to move on. What was yours?
He got someone else pregnant.
Stop.
Yeah, he just got someone else pregnant.
How'd you find out?
She sent me a DM.
I'm like, God, talk to me. And you're like, that bitch is
actually
pregnant.
Instagram talked to me and said,
This is God. I'm
the
pregnant.
baby is not yours.
Stop.
I mean, there was many signs before this moment, obviously, but actually our relationship had gotten much better. Like we had been through a hell of a time in our relationship. And then we had actually, I felt we had turned a leaf, but I didn't know he had already, planted a seed in someone else. Oh. And so I was planning our wedding. And so we had been engaged for a good amount of time at that point, and I hadn't planned our wedding because we weren't in a good place. And then I finally did feel like we were in a good place, so I started planning it. And then God was like, no, bitch, sorry, we're not going to let you do that. And so that was really, obviously, that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. Yeah. Pregnancy.
And did you know the woman?
No. No, she didn't live in the state. She lived in a whole other state. And of course, like totally different vibe than me, completely different human than me.
Totally.
And, spoke more volumes about where he was at in his life and what he needed, what he needed. And, they have a beautiful son now out of it. Yeah. And I have honestly, like, I'm grateful for that, and I'm actually grateful for her, even though I've actually never spoken to her ever. Yeah. Because had that not happened, I probably would not have left him. I know. Wouldn't have this platform at all, because all of that really created this whole hamster wheel of like where I'm at now from that very moment. So I believe that God was like, how much more? Like how much of a ride or die are you going to be, bitch? Because you've been riding. And I did. I rode with him through a lot of pain, through a lot of loss, I talk about this in my book. Make sure you check my book, A Good Mom's Guide to Making Bad Choices. You can get it on Amazon. Click the link in this episode description.
Agent, baby.
Shout out to HarperCollins. Yeah. Oh, wait. Agent?
Tess.
Oh, yeah.
Tess
yeah.
is our agent too.
Shout out to Europa.
I read your whole proposal. We did our book.
Oh, thank you.
Isn't that crazy? I fucking loved it.
Thank you.
Oh my God, that reminds. Okay, I'm gonna let you finish your story.
But yeah, so I if I ever meet her one day, I would like to thank her because it really opened me up and got me out of a situation that I was like in a loop. Yeah. And nothing or no one I was so dedicated and so loyal for years and years and years. And like you, like very, very loyal sexually, all of those things. Yeah. And so when I did start dating, it was like a whole new motherfucking world opened up. It's the best. And it's been life-changing for me. It was like the first time I really chose myself. Yes. And I needed to do that, especially as a mom too, because I was so concerned. And the reason I hadn't left even before that moment was because of my daughter. It was like, we're a family. This is what we decided. We're doing this. Yep. I'm Black. I'm not going to be a fucking baby mama. I'm not going to be a statistic, even though I am dating a gangster rapper.
Who got somebody else pregnant.
Very much.
I pick which ones I
It's very much
do.
Giving love and hip hop, but
not me.
Not me. We're gonna be. So that was the difference.
Isn't it crazy how like if you don't do the shit, God will be like, yo, I'm gonna destroy your life. To make you move.
We talk about that shit in the book. I was like, listen, bitches, there's one prayer and everyone avoids it. And it's like, God, make this shit so clear. If this is not right, make it so clear that not even my dumb ass can deny. Yep. And then wait 24 hours to 7 days, bitch. And your answer will be coming around the mountain when
you
she
could
comes.
say, God, make it clear and kind.
God said, bitch, you ain't said the prayer, so I'm about to just...
God,
I've been waiting for this
I'm going to make you pray.
but God knows if you're saying, hey, God, it can't be clear and kind, bitch, because I've been kind.
Yes.
And, bitch, you ain't been moving. So let me make it so clear. It's going to hurt so bad, and your pride's going to be so pressed that nothing can make you return to this bullshit. And that's generally, as women, we're so loyal. It has to be.
Yes.
It has to be like, yeah, God has
to bitch slap you.
God has to bitch slap
Yes.
you. You're like, God, please send me my bitch slap in whatever form you see fit. A bitch needs to be bitch slapped. Literally, we be acting so dumb.
I was thinking about even just, so like, because I've just started dating, I've had like really good connections with men. One of them was in London, and I was like, after we left, I was like, I think we should not talk anymore. And then a week later, I was like, we should talk and we should do this. And I'm like, this man is not my man. And I'm like trying to make this work. And I could just feel myself, the connection.
You feel the habits of your past coming, creeping
Yes. I had one man in New York was like, I have a terminal disease. I'm not going to live long.
Please shut
And
up.
I was like, I will be at your bedside, babe.
Krista.
Like, I know, literally. He was like, I'm going to maybe live till 50. I don't think I can have kids. And I'm like,
I'll be there
figure
with
this
you.
out.
Krista.
Like, this man had a roommate. Like, I was just like, girl, what the fuck? He's like, I need to end this because you need to move on.
because it's
Not him releasing you.
This man released me.
Any other man would be like, you're going to stay with me till I die?
He kept like dropping hints. Like the first time we fucked, I texted him. I was like, I just got home. He's like, thanks for hanging out with the poor person tonight. That was what this man said. He fucked me good, and that's what this man said. And he was
Poor
like,
people can always fuck good.
that's true.
That is a fact.
They have to.
That's true.
They
But I
gotta
was
need-
like, girl, you gotta check your attachment. Like, you gotta. Because I'm just like, no. The standards, I have my fucking list that's like houses all over the world, successful, on purpose. I'm like, this man has a roommate and is dying. I'm like, you're it.
He's like, we're going to change the world, baby, me and you.
Honestly, we'll start a charity and we'll figure it out.
We're gonna change. We're gonna get the cure to this terminal illness.
Honestly.
I know some scientists.
He
babe.
told me, he was like, I've got this. And I was like holding his hand. I was like, wow. He's like, do you know what that is? I was like, no. He's like, it's terminal. It's like, okay. And
How
I'm
terminal
such
are
a
we
psycho.
talking?
I think everyone's lying to me. So I was like, are you lying? Because I think everyone's lying. I'm like, you're lying. And he had to like show me his like card.
There's a terminal.
There's a terminal card? Like, I'm going to die
It
soon
was like
card?
for his medications.
Oh.
He's like, here's my card for my medications that I use because there's like really expensive medication, blah, blah, blah.
Shut up.
Even my guy in London, he got sick one weekend when I was there. And I was like, send me your Oura Ring data to show me that your temperature is raised.
Bitch.
Should
You
I?
got,
like,
you
okay.
got divorced so you could figure out what is this.
So I can freak out these men.
But I also feel like that people don't give enough credit to like the hoe phase of when you are like not just hoeing to be hoeing aimlessly, but when you're starting to get to a place of self-awareness and you hoe, you're inevitably going to find the root to your own shit because you're gonna be like, I'm crazy.
No, it's true.
I literally was like, I
so
don't like to be
grateful.
alone. Let me call this
Because
guy
every
that
man,
don't
I mean,
like.
not to be like corny, but every man has been like a lesson for me. Like
Same.
like the London man, I was like, I want to feel desire. I felt desire. The next man, I was like, I want to feel like myself. But it's like, oh, where am I? And where could I negotiate who I am? Because I could find myself going to dates and I'm like, oh, this guy's super surface. He can't talk deep. I'm just going to talk about bullshit all fucking night and he's gonna like me, but I'm not gonna feel satisfied
Fulfilled,
because I'm not being my full self. But it's easy for me to fall into that with men where I can be whatever they want me
Camouflage.
to be. Exactly. So I always have to watch myself do that now where I'm like, okay, where am I like being fake for like his comfort and enjoyment?
Well, you've done it for 10 years.
I know.
That's your programming
know.
to chill and to like, oh, let me present for this person
Yeah.
because this is how you've used to shown up.
Yeah.
But like, how did he feel about the podcast?
Which one? My husband?
Yeah.
You know, when we started, I wasn't doing that. I was in corporate.
Right.
So he wasn't down really.
Okay.
He did some stuff with me, but like in the end didn't like it. And I respect that. Like it is what it is. And I don't talk about much detail. I just kind of keep it surface and I should probably talk less. But yeah, he wasn't down with it. I don't think a lot of men are.
No,
No.
it's a slippery.
Because women talking is an abomination.
100%.
Publicly.
Men are also very fucking concerned about how they're perceived.
Yeah.
Oh no, well, because it's their egos. It's
Yes.
are on the line.
Yes.
It's all because that's all they have.
Yes.
Is how we perceive them or how they're perceived publicly.
Yeah, they want. I mean, men want to be seen good more than any of us.
You think so? You think more than women?
I think so.
The reputation, it's like this
Yes.
big thing. Yeah.
Or that was mine. What do
They
you
get
think?
embarrassed easy.
I don't know. I think women. I don't know. I would beg to differ and think that women want to be
Yeah.
perceived more than men. I feel like men kind of don't really give a fuck a little
that's
bit.
true.
I think their egos won't allow them to show that they give a fuck mostly.
Totally.
Whereas women, we're gonna fucking shatter.
Totally. That's true.
But I think humans just in general care.
Yeah. I think, and maybe I'm thinking too, and you guys probably have this, like, after a while, you don't give a fuck what people say about you. You're like, okay, whatever you're going to say. But I think the first time you hear feedback, it fucking shatters you. Like, you know, the first time you had someone talk shit about you or write a bad review or whatever, it hurts and you never forget. But after a while, you're like, people are going to say what they're going to say. So I think for men, it's the first times that they hear feedback that's hard.
Yeah.
It takes practice too. Like we're all here talking about not giving a fuck, but we're three bitches who talk honestly every week on thousands of minutes for thousands of people, and we say all types of shit, and they're like, "Okay, bye." And we've been practicing that. For, it's a
ritual of release constantly, over and over and over.
Still, I have attachment. Still, I'm like, "Damn, was that?" I'll be like, Erica was like, "Was she just coming at me? Like, bitch, what are you just thinking about?
Stop."
Like, and it's psycho. And I'm like, nobody is thinking about you, bitch. Yeah. But it's and then I have to check myself. What the fuck are you thinking about? Yeah. Why are you even thinking this shit? You know what I mean? And so it's like, we can say it all the time, but it's the practice of consciously releasing the negative thought. Yeah. Because it doesn't just happen with, I think it happens less with strangers. I don't give a fuck what a stranger, you're looking at me, listening to me, bitch. I don't know you. But it's in our circles or when we meet people for the first time and they're like, we think there's this expectation of how we're supposed to show up. Like, oh, was that mean? Like, did that come off mean? Yeah. Or was I too hype? Or like, you know what I mean? It's just like all these ridiculous, and I think women deal with that more because there's like more pressure to show up in like a dainty, like, I think
we're more psychic too. Yeah,
absolutely.
This is my thing.
Oh, that too. Yeah.
I love women. My work is women. Like, it's, you know, that's my life. But it's like, I love fucking hanging out with men because there's no psychic energy.
No, women.
They're just like fucking TV, fucking phone, sport, like whatever, and it's just nice. I'm like, I'm just relaxing too.
I was just talking to my friend
women,
yesterday.
You're like, oh, am I too much? Am I too little? Are you gonna like what the fuck?
I was talking to
Are you looking at me?
I was talking to my friend yesterday, and she was saying, and she said something pretty, like, I don't know, it was profound to me because I never really considered this, but she was like,
you should just take credit for it.
She was like, actually, I said this. Yeah, that women get the downloads and men are just there to protect us. Like, they're there to protect the download.
Yes.
And I was like, that's so true. Like, she's like, men don't get the fucking downloads.
Yeah, they don't.
We get the downloads. And that's why we get in the red tents. And that's why we have sit in circles. And like,
and then we tell them and they
help. We tell them, and that's why they have to protect us so that we get the downloads.
Yes.
And I was like, wow.
There's this really amazing book called Enter Her Vortex. It's actually a really good read. It's by this author named Malik. I forget what his last name is. But in it, he talks a lot about, like, women are like the unseen realm aspect of the relationship, like the psychic awareness, the emotional awareness, like the caretaking. Like, we all work in that way, and men is like material. It's like working in the material plane, like working in the world, holding the foundation for the women to like be whatever it is that you want to be. And that's what I want in my next relationship. Like, I want to be able to be like just fucking responsible for everything that's in my power and not so much like holding the masculine frame of everything that I feel like I was doing in the past. You know, like making sure everything was done, like over-functioning on everything, like running our entire life, feeling like I was like alone doing it.
We're not supposed to function like that. We are supposed to be like, get the downloads, do the shit with our friends, dance around naked, and they're supposed to kind of provide for us, and make us feel safe in that space.
It also says women are multipliers.
We are, absolutely.
You bring me that idea, I'm going to make it.
That is literally what I've been telling. I've been selling that to this person that I've been seeing. Obsessed. And I'm like, we are multipliers.
You don't understand.
I'm a multiplier. So if you treat me well and you nurture me, I will, whatever it is that you want for yourself, I'm going to help multiply. Yes. So if you want to make more money, fuck with me.
Yes. But not yet.
If you want more babies, obviously I'm the only one that can give that to you.
Yes.
But like, yes, we are the multipliers of all things. Yes. And even in nature.
Yes.
So it's just fact.
That's what femininity is, like fertility. Like, we help expand ideas. We help nurture them.
Bloom the seed. We water it. Like,
but what's hard is that women, like, we kind of get stuck where it's like women are multipliers, girls are try and be their mothers. So it's like, how do you be a man's multiplier and be his equal but not be his mother? Because I think a lot of men right now want mothers. They want women that are going to take care of them like a mother. And so it's been interesting to also come into the dating world and be like very acutely aware of that. Like, I actually don't want to be a mom. I don't want to be with a man that's like not actually gonna hold it down like a real man. But they all play like they're men. It's crazy.
Well, I'm super excited for your dating journey. I think about my own when I first became single.
What advice do you have for me?
Just have fun. Just have fun, you know? And like, just maybe keep a journal and like
Okay,
as
I
I know
love that.
as I'm assuming you maybe do, and just like taking notes of like each person that you're dating and the trends that you find in the men that you date,
Oh my
because
gosh,
you
she's got a
will
Clara app.
because it's kind of crazy, because it took me a long time in my dating journey to realize I was still dating different versions of my ex for a while, until I did meet someone that was very different. And that was kind of like the turning point in my dating experience, where I kind of went to a different direction. But you are attracted to what's comfortable. And sometimes what's comfortable is dressed in different forms. So sometimes you need to like have mental clarity, and sometimes it's like, these are the pros and the cons. Oh wow, these cons all seem very similar.
They just show up.
That's what's interesting about types is I'm dating outside my type.
What is your type?
Do we have, I'll say it, but I'm like, do we have types because it's the only thing that we've had access to, or do we have types because it's true? And my type is like pretty boys. What do you mean? There's like really pretty boys.
Tall, pretty boys.
Tall, pretty boys. Really nice.
What about personality type?
Funny, charismatic, confident, really emotionally in tune. I need a good listener. Like if I go on even a second with a man and I feel like he's not listening, I'm out. Emotionally aware. Funny is probably the biggest thing. Because if you're funny, you're smart. You know? What about you?
My type is changing.
I mean, you got a different type.
I mean, physically, normally it's like tall, dark, and bald with a beard.
Okay.
But
Someone's laughing here. We know the type. We know the vibe.
I would say, I think for a long time, because I didn't really fully understand what an alpha was.
That's the biggest
I
facts.
definitely was leaning into overly confident men, and a lot of
That's the whole thing.
And a lot of that comes from my dad, and I think it's because my dad, when he enters a room, he shifts the energy in the room. It's his presence, and so I'm attracted to men that also do that, because for some reason it feels like some sort of protection.
Of course. Feels like home.
And I also like a man that has like a bit of a dark side. So like if I can't quite figure you out, even better, because I am a quick read of people most of the time, especially men. And so if I can't read you, then I'm all in, which usually equates to like, you're a fucking liar. It's not like he's deep and like you gotta like really unearth the layers. No nigga here, just a liar. So I've had to really in my dating really kind of explore what that means to me and why it is that I'm attracted to that, and trying to heal the root of that. And like even this year, like, and at the end of last year, me revisiting my daddy issues and thinking like, oh, I'm over it. Like me and my dad have a good relationship. And so like, we're fine. It's cool. Like I forgive him. And then like things came up and I realized, oh no, we're not okay. There's still more there. So I think now that I'm in the process of still doing that, like I know that even now, like what my type is could potentially still be shifting.
Yeah, that's so true. It's like, what's your healed type?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Because your type is like your unhealed.
Not your healed type.
And now
your unhealed version, like what's my healed type? I don't know.
So now I don't necessarily need the man that comes into the room and shifts the energy. Like I'm cool. I'm good.
That's fascinating.
Whereas before that was like my thing. Yeah. Because I feel like I have a powerful energy as well. So I want
you want that.
I
like,
want
star
that match.
Quality. Yeah, that X factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. That's the thing with what we do. It's like you want.
But now I'm like, no, I could shift the energy in the room, and then you can support me.
Yes.
In that.
Yes.
That's actually more helpful and feels better to me than both of us like being in competition.
Yeah, who's gonna shift it more?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I'm gonna take off my shirt. Yeah, you're like, watch me.
How about now?
But it does require someone who, like, because of what we do, it does require someone who can handle that.
Yes.
Because I'm sure we've all experienced that too. Like people who say they can handle it and then they can't. And it's
this man,
yeah,
the best.
He's the best.
This man, king.
We're probably.
What do you love about him?
A lot of things. I'm very lucky. I really came up and like I have a very supportive, phenomenal, committed, like about the business. Like this is what we're gonna do. Like open, honest, like committed to growth and evolution.
This makes me want to cry.
And no, literally, it's like he's loyal, he's freaky, you know, like it's like literally all the shit I asked for. And honestly, it didn't show up exactly how I thought I was going to show up. You know, I was like, that's not my type. It's not my type. And I'm like, damn.
Orlando, just forget that last part.
I mean, he's heard it a lot of times because I was just like, But, you know, like, you can't deny someone who is like, no, I want you.
Yes.
You know, and like also like and wanting to reciprocal, and like even with my daughter, like super serious about the role as, you know, being a bonus parent or a stepdad, and just has always been very serious about it, and like they're very close, and we can be very honest, and he's like emotionally mature, which helps. But I'm very satisfied and happy, and I feel like so what you said earlier about relationships are easy. I used to always say that. But it's true.
Yeah.
It's like they're not easy because, of course, people are going to get on your nerves. And I think the longer you're with someone, it's like you have to push for it not to be monotonous, you know, to grow and to like still do freaky shit and like we're fun people. But I do think that the kind of issues you run into are not the issues you run into when you're dealing with just a toxic person that you shouldn't be with. I think when it's someone you're supposed to be with, it's easy issues.
Yeah. And I want to say, as someone
what do you want to say, babe?
I want to say that I have something to say.
Listen up.
Because I'm listening to her talk, and like she said this to me when I was in a relationship, and for people that are listening that are in really difficult relationships, hearing her tell me that was hard for me to hear. Because I was like, oh, that's
hear you so hard.
She told me, like,
it was like
Orlando.
I was like, well, that's easy for you to fucking say. Like that's not my storyline here. Like
that's not real. That's not always like
that's not always going to be someone's storyline. That's not like I don't get to narrate my story, you know. And I've also said that like my storyline maybe not look like your storyline. 100%. Maybe my storyline starts a little bit fucking hard, and then
I get so irritated.
I love that you're just like, me and Orlando's relationship's easy. You're like, well, bitch, that's not my storyline.
Well, I was like, I'm not saying it has to be your storyline, but I'm saying it's not going to be this hard, bitch.
So
there is a part of spirituality and our spiritual path where some of us choose fucking harder shit. Mm-hmm. You know, like you're like, I actually want the deeper, more intense learning and lesson in relationship, but I do believe it should.
No, I believe her. I believe it. Now that I'm out of it and I can see clearly, I can see that. But when you're in it, it's very hard to see that because you're committed to the journey. You're committed to making it work. So you don't want to hear that shit. You're like, no, I get but also like I'm in the midst of hardship right now, and I'm committed to getting to the light. So you telling me that is not helpful. Yeah. And so
it hurts.
And it hurts.
Yeah, it hurts.
And like even going back to what we were talking about before.
You feel alone.
Even going back to what we were talking about before, like a while ago, like I think about, and this is something me and Mila I've talked candidly about on our show, on other people's show, is that like to be like when I was in my relationship and I was going through hardship, which was like almost most of the time, being around Jamila and Orlando was extremely triggering for me. Yeah. Like it was really hard for me to be around them. I was like, it was a mirror to everything that I wasn't experiencing, but I was still committed to like making it work because I had glimpses of that. And I was like, I know that it's there. I know that I can feel that. And I felt immense guilt for that feeling too, because I am so happy for my friend, and I know that her and her partner are supposed to be together, and like I champion their relationship. So it was really, I felt so much shame that I would feel like I wanted to remove myself from being around them because it was too hard for me. You know, and I think a lot of people can resonate with that idea, and they feel ashamed by it, and it's something that you don't want to say out loud. And it was something I didn't even know how to tell her for a long time.
You don't have to tell me, girl. I'm psychic.
How did you feel about that?
I mean, I'm a super fucking empath. So, and I am kind of psychic, and this is my fucking wife. So
I was gonna say,
I know her.
I don't think you needed to be psychic for me for you to know.
I think it's just. I mean,
Scorpios don't kind of wear everything on our fucking sleeve.
But you didn't say like I don't want to be around you in Orlando. I mean, maybe have, but I think it's also like just like intuitively knowing if your friend is going through something that is pertaining to a relationship that she's fighting for, and kind of everyone knows like this is going to be something she's going to have to like play out in her own terms. Yeah. Of course, it's extremely frustrating. It's hard. I love my friend and I see her struggling, and I see that this is not what it needs to be. And I think that's another thing too. It's just like, obviously we all have to learn our lessons on our own time, but I internalize it sometimes, and I was very like, get the fuck off me, like chill out, like doing too much. You know what I mean? Because we are together a lot, all of us. I know. You know, it's very,
and that's what it was too. Is that we are together so much that it was like,
I know. Dude.
I felt like suffocated. I was like,
I mean, and honestly, probably was a little bit necessary. So it to be like, come, because there was a time where we were all like, we are always trying to live the same life at the same time, like Mira, so it could be perfect. But there was a time where it seemed like, oh my God, this might be it. We're both in relationships. We're going to be so having so much fun. And then it was like, you're fucking up.
Yep.
You got to go. And she was still holding on to it. And I, of course I felt the shift that's the thing. Like when one person is not right, you feel that, you know, and it was hard for me to watch you go through that. But I also know my friend, and it was only a matter of time before she woke the fuck up.
Which is huge.
But I think that sometimes, like, I honestly wish that I think there was a couple times where I was like, listen, you know that this is not what you need right now. Yeah. And sometimes I'm like, maybe I should have been more like, bitch.
No.
You are tripping. Hey, look at me.
God, you're going to be God and just slap me? Yeah.
Sometimes I was like, was I too soft on her? Like, I think like...
No, I am like such a fan. Like, I remember in my process, like, I had one friend that was like right away the first time I ever told her about anything, I didn't open up. She's like, well, what about divorce? I wasn't divorced in my mind yet. And I was like, bitch, I haven't even told you about our problems. Like, it bothered me because it was like, you're trying to get me to a solution that feels good for you and that feels easy, and I'm not there yet. And I think being friends is like being with them through the process of it all. Of
letting
like,
them come to their own.
Yeah, like
their
you
own.
have to trust that your friends are going to come to their own shit. Like, I trust you. I'm here for you. Like, I will ride for you. And that means through the times where you're like, yes and no and up and down and blah, blah, blah. Because you don't want to be with someone that every time something happens, you're like, yeah, bitch, I know he sucks. Like, I know.
No, you have to be soft with your friends. But then there's also, like, is there a time limit? Because I'm thinking about my mom, right? Yeah. My mom told me that her friend from, like, fucking kindergarten. My mom is literally in her 50s. Been married to my dad forever. I'm literally, most everyone in her life, including myself, knows they're not supposed to be together. But they are codependent. They love each other. And maybe they are supposed to be together. Fuck, I don't know. But she's like, you know, so-and-so, my godmother, stop talking to me. I'm like... What? She's like, because your dad. I was like, girl, because she's tired of listening to the same shit. And so am I, but you're my mom, so I can't.
Like, I have to.
So, like, I just want, like, for you guys, is there a time limit that you're willing to support a friend through something?
That's a good question.
Or is there a hard no? Because I'm wondering about my godmom who gave my mom a hard no.
With a mom, I'm not sure if a mom you could change.
No, I can't give her a hard no, but her friend stopped fucking with her. Her friend of, like...
Like, are you going to abandon your friend? Because
it does hurt. I do remember my best friend from home growing up. Like, she was in a toxic relationship for over 15 years. And I remember one point, and I was, like, in bed crying so fucking hard. I was like, I don't think I can do this anymore. Like, I don't think I can watch you in this. And I just remember I was like, I need to do something. I need to tell her that I'm, like, unavailable for this, actually. Like, and I was, like, unavailable for it for the next couple years because I'm like, I cannot. Like, if you care, it'll take you down.
It's also about the trust you have in your friendships. And I think this is important because I was talking to Eric about this yesterday, is like, in all relationships, after a certain amount of time, right, you're really used to them. You know the shit that gets on your nerves. Yeah. You know how they respond. You know everything about them. So it's easy sometimes to get annoyed. But I also think, like, at the core of it, always reminding yourself, this is my friend that loves me, and I know she loves me, even if it's not coming off that way, because I think we forget that, and and like, because we let moments be bigger than what you've grown. And even when she was in that relationship, I was like, oh my God, what if I've lost her for good,
Oh, bless, yeah.
And it scared me, and I think I started letting that fear kind of like that, the fear and possibility, like, linger, and it would make me have like and she's gonna always be my friend, we're best friends, but like it would make me be like short with her because I'm frustrated with her situation. But on the flip side, when I first started dating Orlando, Erica was the one who told me, like, I think that's your husband. And I was having feelings of that, but when she told me,
Orlando was just hard as fuck in that room. We've been just gassing this man up.
This is his like love language. He loves to be gassed up. In Aquarius, I don't know, like, this is his thing.
What man doesn't? I mean,
that's true. I have to remember that in my regular life.
Yes,
because I'm not like a gasser upper, so I have to be like, gas your man up. But when she told me that, I was like, then I could believe it. Like, I might have had those feelings here, but when she said it, because she's my friend and she loves me and she knows me, I was like, oh, okay, like, maybe those feelings were right. And I feel like the same, like, because I know she loves me, the same ability I had to take that information, friends should be able to really listen when their friends are like, I don't think this is for you because I love you. And a lot of times, especially as women, it's like, she's jealous. Or she doesn't understand, or, you know what I mean? We are justifying our own fucked up actions towards ourselves because a lot of times our friends are loving us more than we're exemplifying loves to ourselves. And so I just feel like applying that lens to everything what is the core of this relationship, instead of letting these negative voices and things come up, is super important. You know what I'm saying? It's like, this relationship is not the fucking who this person is and the end all be all, or how she's showing up in this relationship is not who she is. And so like putting that part first, just like, you know, on when the positive information comes, I was welcoming of it because I was already feeling that way. And when I was saying shit to her, she was already feeling that way, but she was hard for her to really resonate with because she wasn't ready to let go yet.
Yeah,
I was resonating. I heard you. It was just I wasn't.
It was pissing me off.
It was just.
It was pissed.
Shut the fuck up.
I
know.
You know, it was also a long distance relationship, so it's easier to like.
Makes so much sense.
You're
just in limerence.
Turn the other
just
cheek.
in fantasy world.
It's fantasy world, and it's like
no one does fantasy better than Scorpio.
There's a longing. There's this.
One of my girlfriends.
There's an intense longing that's always existing, and so it's always like, well, maybe if you lived here, it'd be different. So it's like this waiting. And then it's like, no, bitch, it's just.
I had to like do inner child work too, like not to get too healing, but on that, because I always had that desire where I felt like, what is that part of me that's always like longing and wanting more and always like desiring. Yeah, that is always in that state with men that are avoidant or whatever. And it was like, oh, because my parents would like neglectful. They weren't around.
So you're longing for someone to care for you and pick you up.
Yep. I wanted someone to
carry
care for
you
me,
like a baby,
pick me up and pay attention to me and carry me like a baby. And that's where I got the teddy bear and then the demon mask.
Wait, so that was you. You were the one with the teddy bear.
Exactly. I was like, I just wanted to like see what you guys thought.
So it's cool. I'm okay.
So it's cool. And then I got
perfect.
You too. Me too. Okay.
Yeah.
No, but I had to like look back at my childhood and be like, yeah, I used to long for someone to, you know, when I was little and I like didn't have anybody.
What was your childhood like?
My mom struggled a lot with mental health, and she was suicidal a lot in my whole life and had her own things, and my parents were not around a lot. So we were kind of hanging around with babysitters or whoever, and but it was, you know, outside fine, and I'm grateful, obviously I am who I am because of it, but it was mentally and emotionally really hard, you know, to feel like mom's also a little bit of a narc. So I've always attracted narcissists too, like a narcissist favorite person.
Yeah. And
I love a narcissist.
I'm sure you fucking
narcissist lovers.
crush them.
I love narcissists. Get your shirt.
Actually?
Yeah, you're like, I did need a new idea. You're like, to Canva.
Well, I think
right. You know us very well. Wow. Oh my goodness.
Why do you love a narc?
Okay, well, I think I formerly loved narcissists.
Is there manipulators?
I think I'm finally done. Do you think my ex was a narcissist? I don't think he was a narcissist.
I think so.
You do?
Absolutely.
I think everybody is a narcissist.
I think you and everybody on the internet.
Yeah, everyone but me is a narcissist.
I saw a lot of that.
I mean, because I think there was negative things, but I don't. That's what I think that term gets thrown around a lot.
Definitely.
You know what it is? I don't think it was as blatant as your initial one. I don't think this is a blatant. I think his is heightened because he has public influence. I feel like his shows up differently because he's deeply insecure because he does not have public influence, but wishes he did. So it comes off very differently because you have to be narcissistic in a different way.
Yeah, I know exactly.
You can't be like all loud and proud because I could easily be like, nigga, you're not that nigga, and I can see right now why you're not.
Yes.
So you have to kind of be a little bit like,
yes.
Oh, I like. It's
It's like when they get to know you, they become. Yes, I know
it's a pulling that like they do it quietly. It's not so here.
I think that. So when you ask me why I love narcissists, it's the same idea of why I loved alpha men. It's that grandiose confidence.
Totally
is that's masked in deep trauma and insecurity.
That's hilarious.
Deep.
You're like deeply unwell men.
Deeply unwell.
I was gonna say when you were like he changed the energy of the room. I'm scared.
Yeah.
Bitch, I'm like
and that's the thing too is that I did like that too. I love a man that people fear. I've loved a man that people fear a little bit. Because again, the safety thing. It's the safety thing. So for
because
me.
He's going to kill everyone for me, kind of thing. Like
it's not even kill. He would.
Okay.
He could. He would. Hot. But he also just might kill.
Perfect. Just for fun. just for fun.
So you like murderers.
To protect his
Yeah.
own self.
You like a potential murderer.
She likes narcissists,
Not
murderers.
sociopaths.
Pre-planned, only because maybe they're coming
Criminals.
for him. Maybe they're
Yes.
coming for him. He's doing it to protect his.
It's defense.
He's protecting.
That's bitch, though. We need alpha. That's too bitch for you.
Nah.
Defense kill is boring.
This is done.
We
This
need
is
darker.
the ex Erica. Okay. This is not me anymore, Krista. This
Okay.
is. I'm talking about my former self.
Okay, we're healed.
And I'm not healed.
She's a healed hoe.
I do feel like, and this might happen.
That's new merch,
I don't.
heel hoe.
I don't wish the heel. We have a
We have
shirt
a shirt that says
says
"Heal first, hoe later."
Done. There we go.
Canva. I was
I'm
going
gonna run
to
that back.
Wait, what were we gonna say? Fuck my memory.
Narcissist, trauma. She was. What about him?
Oh, I was gonna say. I feel like there comes a time in every witch's life, and I don't wish this on you, Krista. However,
Scared.
I'm scared too.
I do. I feel like there's a time, like as you go through these
Teach me your ways.
these vortexes of like your healing, as you come clearer with your healing and your magic and like your mystical power personally, and you become super intuitive and you're doing all this work. There's going to be a man that tests you.
For sure.
And it's going to test you high, and it's going to test you hard, because it's like, bitch, you've done all this work. Mm-hmm. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. Are you going to do it? Mm-hmm. Are you going to choose yourself? Or are you going to go this unhealed route? Mm-hmm. And I think it's a grandiose thing in the middle of the healing, so it can be like, got you, bitch.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that's actually huge. And God gives you tests.
And it's like,
that's what's going to happen for you in this process. So
I was trying to.
Fuck y'all.
It will. If it hasn't already happened, it's going to happen.
I think my last thing was a test. The guy who's dying could
That's
have been
not
a test.
Krista, bitch. No,
was a test.
your friends weren't going to let you do that.
No,
they were
he
going
was-
to bitch slap you.
I was like,
I know you
what's
now.
your
And if you were
roommate's
doing that,
name?
I'd
Like,
met you
what's
today.
your
Bitch slap you.
But the thing is like, witches have to be tested by their mystic supreme power.
I do think that there's
God.
a dark, the dark masculine. Like there's a type of masculine that's like super, I don't know, can just like pull a really powerful woman down that you have to pass the test of.
But but then I feel like dark feminine is like what we are. Like that's or it's like, I don't know, what is dark?
Like Lilith.
Lilith,
Dark
but Lilith is
masculine.
not like evil. I think the
No.
dark masculine you speak of is
Lilith
evil.
is Lilith is biblically evil, like, you know, because she was like cast out.
But the
and
Bible
then-
makes everybody evil.
Yeah, but evil compared to whatever. And she, like, what was it? She could, like, consume a bunch of demons every single year or something. She was, whatever. But it was a dark masculine, not in the way of, like, a cool, sexy one, but, like, one that's, like, there to, like, be for themselves
And tempt you.
serve themselves, I think, rather than serve the feminine. Because there's a dark masculine that can be, like, in service to the feminine of her healing. But I think there's, like, a really fucking demonic type, you know?
And it comes for us, specifically for
Yes.
women like us. There are human men that are here to come to test women in places of power like us,
I don't
because
know if they're human.
I don't know if they're human either. I made that up.
Yeah.
Entities that are here to test women like us, because we have great duties. Our purpose is so high that we have to be tested to make sure, bitch, you're on your
Yeah,
shit.
it's to check your work.
Yes.
Because you can't be out here healing the women and on some bullshit. Yeah. And I think it comes when you're like conscious enough to be like, I know I'm fucking up, and also like when you're fucking up consciously.
Yes.
And then you say, okay, and now we will part ways because a bitch is done here.
Yes.
And then I think right after that relationship, you get your Orlando.
I know. Orlando. I don't don't even know if I want my Orlando
Amen.
yet. I want to like
Because you're not ready. I wasn't ready. When I met Orlando, it took me, I was like, that's not my guy. He's cool.
No way.
Yeah, we dated like long distance for like
Why
a
does
year.
everyone always say that? They're always like, when I met him, I was like, he's not my guy. I'm like,
I knew I loved him
Because we're so married to the love story,
what do you
Krista.
mean?
Because we
I have-
want
yeah,
we want
very
the
specific.
fucking
you want to save him and to go by his bedside as he's dying.
We want the
Honestly.
if it's not doesn't match our
I
love
wanna bring
story.
him back to
This is
health.
not the fucking poem I wrote in
I
my
saved
fucking
his
journal
life.
in second
I'm
grade.
like, he's not like a NFL superstar. It's not it.
yeah,
Like,
where is my Tom Brady?
I cured this
honestly.
disease. Me, Krista.
Yeah,
alone.
honestly, like he just hasn't met a healer yet.
Yeah. No, it's so true. And I think I was having this conversation with with my friend, and we're talking about romanticism and how like the
God.
Western world has like created this whole narrative around what romance is and what a love story looks like. And then I was thinking, well, is it the Western world? Because I still feel like I think some of like the biggest scholars and like philosophers weren't from the Western world. So is it over there and then they brought it over here? Like, whose fucking fault is this?
Yeah, because what was I was writing in our book about soulmates, and I don't even know if it was like Plato or Aristotle, but they basically talked about how we're halves of a soul and we have to find our soulmate.
I thought that was the soul tie.
And that's where we
twin flame. Is that what that is? The other
That's
half?
a twin. Yeah, that's the idea of a twin flame. But they said they had it as soulmate, and that is like what a twin flame is. But it's funny because like our souls are complete. So for us to think that like
we're half
is insane.
So who wrote that?
Like
one of those. So they
a man.
So they're
yeah, it was like back
so they
in the
fucked
day.
us up.
They fucked us up. Also, you know what I was thinking about is Disney movies.
Oh well, that. Of
Because
course.
I was thinking about fucking Little Mermaid.
Of
Little
course.
Mermaid.
She left her whole fucking
left her whole
family.
and she had to give up her voice. She had to sell her voice, and she was mute to meet her man and get legs. You guys, we have to sell our voices to meet our Prince Charming and get legs.
But you know, mermaids are like
And then we're going to leave our
And
family
he loved
still.
her and she didn't have a voice.
Then we're going to get our voice
He loved
back.
her.
So she
and we're
talked.
still going to leave our family.
Honestly, we're going to get our voice back, and he's going to be like, I don't know if I signed up for this. My girl was mute.
That's why they want us mute, because they're like, Little Mermaid was mute
Yes.
and she left her whole family. And you're talking, bitch. You have family. Like, what the fuck is that?
Dude. But the kids are, you guys have kids. Like, they're watching those 24/7.
This is how I talk to my daughter. Like, girl, this is stupid. She's stupid. Little Mermaid can't even talk, and she got legs. She's stupid. Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, those Disney movies are very dangerous. They are. I think as parents, we're very aware of the detriment that it's played in our lives, because I think it's only been a conversation recently in the last maybe 10, 15 years,
so true.
really reflecting on Disney and the malice that it's and like the chaos that it's caused in the minds of children, specifically girls.
Yes.
You know, and me too. Like I love
damsel.
romance. I love
Save
romance.
me from the castle.
Yeah.
I want to be saved. That's what I had to realize and get honest with myself, too. I was like, oh, there's a part of me that wants to be saved by a man.
But what do you think you're being saved to? Because, like, what would you be getting?
Saved would be, like, it's funny because I do well and I feel, like money is not, it's like, but I still, like, there's never enough. And I'm like, if I get saved by a man, then I can.
That's literally
he can invest in my businesses. I'm looking for a bank loan.
We can go half. We can do half on half.
So you don't have to pay back.
If you paid half and I paid half, we'd be rich.
Yes. I'm like, I feel like it's like, I feel like a man is my only pathway to like a home or like what is that? I know that
Programming?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're like, it is. And
I
like,
think that is so many women's idea, including my own. And like that has been too, like I just moved into a new house and I've lived in my house for 9 years. And I most of the time thought the only way I'm going to be able to move out of this house is if I move with I get a boyfriend and that we move, and then finally I'll be able to have the upgrade that I want and that I deserve. Like that was literally my mindset for over and over and over again. And even when I finally signed my lease into this house that is my own, that is what I've been wanting, and I'm paying for it, like there was still this fear of like, how am I going to maintain this? I'm going to did I make a mistake? Like I should have done this with someone else. Like he was supposed to do this with me. Like I kind of did this for us, like in my own psycho thought. Like that was my whole thought process. Real. And I'm still like working through that. But every morning that I wake up there, I'm like, I did this. Even today, I was walking through my house and I was like, I did this. I'm doing this. And I'm going to pay my rent next month and I'm going to fucking pay it. And it's going to get done, And it's been, I think, it is society. It's our mothers, because our mothers telling us that like, when are you going to get a husband? Why the fuck do I need a husband besides what? To take care of me? Are you going to take care of my daughter? That's always the narrative too of like around, even in all movies, like the parents meet the guy and they're like, are you going to take care of my daughter? How are you? And we all know what they mean. They mean like, don't hurt her and like take care of her financially. So there is this like deep seated like feeling that we get from as women, like we're hit in all different directions, whether it's media, whether it's our parents, whether it's what we're reading, what we're seeing in our other friends' relationships. Like you kind of can't escape the feeling.
And I feel like women, like the modern woman is, and you guys even more, like as moms, like are doing so much. And it's like, and you guys even more, again, as mothers, like I'm not a mother, so I don't even know, like we just want to fucking break. Like it's like, I'm responsible for my business, for my team, for like all of my finances, for all my friendships, for like my family, for like my social life. It's like all of these things that we do. And then if you add motherhood onto it, it's another thing. And then your relationships, like we're holding so much, and it's like you just want a fucking second to be like, okay, can I like relax somehow? And that's, I think, the feeling that I want, where on a day-to-day basis, I feel really good about my life and everything that's going on. But there is a part of me that's like, I want to relax into like the support of a man financially. I want to relax into the support of $50 million.
I would like to relax into.
What does it feel like to wake up knowing there's $50 million at my disposal?
Maybe that should be.
I'm like, are they on Hinge or Field? Like, where are these
maybe
men
Raya.
at? Yeah, maybe Raya.
But maybe that's the meditation that's the affirmation we need every morning. Because that's what it is. I just realized right now. It's like, I would like to wake up knowing there's $50 million in my account. What the fuck does that feel like? Because it has nothing to do with a guy. And I think we associate security with a man, but no, it's literally a number, and it's 50 million, knowing it's there and that it's coming with ease. Because like even my relationship, I realized like when he came and he's like finally moved here, I was like, what the fuck? No one's supposed to do this alone. This is crazy. Like, how was I doing this alone? Now I'd be like, he could never live away from me. It could never happen. I don't know how the fuck he lived away from me. I don't know how I was maintaining.
My boy's cheesing, dude.
But it's true. It's like on a personal, just a regular household level. Like even there's women who are monetarily supported, but not really supported. And that shit feels miserable too. Yes. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like now it's like everything's on you and it's not financial. How does that shit feel?
Wait, how do you guys, are your friends, most of my friends are the breadwinners.
Yeah. I mean, most of my friends are not married. Are they?
You're like, who are my friends?
Yeah.
Like half and half.
Yeah.
Half and half.
Most of my friends are not. Are we like the single circle?
But most of my friends are the breadwinners.
Wow. Isn't that crazy?
I would say, like, even the ones that are single, that are dating. I'm saying because I know. Let me shut up.
I know. I know.
But yeah, I would say, but that's a fact though, that women are actually like
becoming the
breadwinners in most households statistically. Like that is what's occurring, which is great, but also scary because that lets me know that women are working so hard.
So hard.
Are most of your friends married?
I'd say like most, yeah. Now at this point, but I have a good amount that are single. I'm 35.
Same.
I have a good amount that are single though, which is really nice, and it's so fun. Like how how your relationships recalibrate. Because like my girls that are married, like I'm always down. Like I don't have a feeling of like wanting anything that they have, but then your single girlfriends, you just are on another level because you're both in a different phase of your life, which is so fun. But in the book Enter Her Vortex too, he talks about, he's like, men want to be 50-50 with women, but they want 100% of the woman. And he's like, they want her to cook, clean, like fuck, like do everything. He's like, so you can't like expect her to be 100 and you be 50-50.
Right.
You know, especially with pay. But I don't know what's right or wrong. Like I desire to have the option, but it feels like hard.
I've done 50-50 and I don't prefer it. I would rather not. I would rather, I mean, financially, like I've done the 50-50 thing. I've also, within that relationship, switched to less than 50-50 where he was taking care of me more, which was
He's like, this is the 8th time I've cheated. I guess I'll be 64.
No, now you're pregnant. Oh, you're pregnant.
Okay.
Oh, I finally did it. So now,
okay, yes.
He got me pregnant.
Okay, yes.
And then he was like, you can quit your job.
Sweet.
Which I was serving tables. So
you promised, Papa?
Yeah. Like, can I really? She's like 9 months.
Leave the Waffle House now.
Yeah.
She's like, I've been on my feet all day.
Well, I was serving tables and I was trying to do my
That's
acting.
my girl.
I was trying to do my acting thing, but I was doing my acting thing, but you know how that goes. So that was really uncomfortable for me though. Like I was like, what? Like
that's the thing, you have to be able to metabolize him.
And I felt guilty about it all the time. Like I felt guilty about it. I felt bad. I felt bad that I wasn't contributing, but I also felt bad about myself because I am such a producer in my life.
Yes.
Like I like to have control over my life. I guess I've in my childhood I remember certain moments specifically where I knew like, wow, I've given someone something or I've allowed someone to help me with something and then they've like used it against me in some way, and I never wanted to feel that way again. And it's been with money, it's been with certain different things, but that money wound in general, like that one was deep. So when it came with a man, I was like, oh, absolutely not. Like, I got it, don't worry.
Wow.
But now I feel like I'm definitely not opposed. I've really worked on that. I'm good.
I'm available.
I'm available to be paid for. You can pay for things. I'm
you to pay for things.
fully available
You guys,
for you to pay for things.
when I was in high school, like throughout like most of adult, like my young adulthood, I was really relying on the fact that I was just going to marry rich and like get dressed up and like have dinner ready and like the house would be clean and like maybe I'd have a hobby that made some money on the outside. But like I was,
you're like, I'm gonna have a dope Etsy shop.
I was super
I'm gonna make
attached,
drinks.
literally super attached to that. I was going to be like a trophy wife. That was like my goal. And it just didn't happen. And then I was like, well, maybe I'll just be a sugar baby. And then that didn't happen. And I was like, am I ugly? And then now we're here. But God
Holy
said
shit,
no.
I'm so
God,
sorry for everyone hearing that on the microphone. That was my real laugh.
God said no.
Like
For
a
real.
fucking Muppet.
God said no.
And I said, am I a bitch? No. What do you mean?
Oh
but
my
see, that I
God.
could never be a sugar baby because I can't be around people I don't like.
Well, that was the
that's
thing. I
hard
thought
for me
God was
too.
going to bless me
You're
with
gonna
the
know
sugar,
my face.
Oh, same.
I
I'm
thought
like,
it was
you're
gonna be
crusty and crunchy. Shut
a
up.
fine sugar daddy, like the ones in the movies.
Yeah, like
Idris Elba.
we want. Oh my, yeah, that's yum. Yum, yum. Yum, yum, yum.
But yeah, that never happened.
Anyway, I could sit here and talk to you for hours and hours and
with you
hours.
guys.
So on our show, we always ask our guests to share an affirmation. Is there any affirmation that you feel called to share with our tribe?
I'm entitled to miracles.
I'm entitled to miracles.
Bitch.
And $50 million in my bank account.
That's a miracle, baby.
Yeah.
I'm entitled to motherfucking
I'm
miracles.
entitled to motherfucking miracles.
As a child of God, baby.
As a child of God.
Yes, I love
Miracles
that.
are natural.
God's children.
I'm all
always
about this.
get
Is my
miracles.
year of miracles. I'm like, God, show me how good it can get.
Amen.
Just fucking surprise me.
Show me how good it can get, God. I'm available for miracles.
Got to do my reading,
Yes. Are you ready?
Yeah.
It's tarot time?
guys. I pulled Page of Wands.
Got it? Or-
Yeah, I got it. The Page of Wands.
This was my date last night. He was Page of Wands.
Inspiration, ideas, discovery, limitless potential, free spirit, single.
You're like ghosting you.
With the Page of Wands, you're inclined to give anything and everything a go. You embrace the opportunity to start out on a new journey or a project and see where it takes you. You do not necessarily have a solid plan in place, nor do you really know where you're headed, but you are excited about the possibilities. You have a gift for dreaming up new creative ideas, unfettered by the burdens of everyday life. Nothing will get in the way of your dreams. And while the appearance of the Page of Wands indicates that you're experiencing creative relentlessness, notice that the page is standing still and his staff is firmly planted on the ground. He is not going anywhere just yet. You still need to take your creative spark and ground it down into reality so that it is ready to be implemented into the physical realm. You may need to map out your strategy, or you may need to test your ideas or create a few experiments before committing. You have some things you're trying to plant?
Doing my thing. This actually makes a lot of sense.
It can be helpful to run your thoughts through a filter so you only act on those most aligned with your broader goals.
Big money, baby.
Yeah, big money, baby.
That was a good one. I love y'all. This was so much fun. I just respect you and admire you so much.
Thank you.
I loved getting to know you more at Debbie's, obviously. Like, you looked so hot that night. And I was like, this is my girl. And then being with you today has been so much fun.
Yeah, this
like,
is
it's
fun.
the best. I'm
Wait,
so
so I
grateful.
have a confession.
Okay.
I was going to say it. I think, is it the same one?
Probably.
Yeah.
So when we first started our podcast, your brand was one of the brands that we were like, oh my God, who are these women? They're doing it right.
Yes.
Look at all these templates.
Oh my God, yeah, bitch.
We
Oh my
downloaded
God,
one.
We're Virgos as fuck.
down-
The podcast ones.
we
Our
download-
first,
a media kit,
our
our
first
media
press
kit.
kit was beautiful because we stole your media kit.
Stop.
We bought it. We didn't steal it.
Yeah.
There you go, bitch.
But it,
$30.
It got us far.
Stop.
Yeah, it really did.
Whatever you need. I
So
mean, whatever
thank
need.
you.
Yeah, I
Thank
love
you
y'all.
for being an inspiration to us and for existing and doing what you do. And I hope that 2024, I know that 2024 is going to bring you a lot of juicy, beautiful experiences.
I can't wait.
So
Same to y'all. Look after. Entitled to miracles, baby.
Entitled to miracles.
Be a podcast
Krista, thank you
host.
so much for coming on the show. Can you tell our people where to find you?
Yeah, Almost 30 Podcast is my podcast that I do with my best friend. It's spirituality and wellness. And then you can find me on Instagram. It's Krista. It's ITSKRISTA. And then it's Krista.com. I work one-on-one with people. I speak and I do retreats as well.
I love that. And we'll list everything in this episode description. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Make sure you come to the Good Vibe Retreat. We're doing our first Mother's Day retreat in Atlanta, May 10th through the 12th. It's a creative retreat mixed with wellness. So we're going to get witchy. We're going to get creative. We're going to finish our project because, bitch, it's time. And then we're also going to go on tour, and we're going to be in a city near you, Philly, New York, DC, Charlotte,
Atlanta,
Houston. And make sure you check us out in your cities. We love you.
And you can find us on Instagram at goodmoms_badchoices. Bye.
Bye.
So if you want more bonus content, click the link in this episode description. We have a bonus episode with Krista all about empathy, and bitches are empathetic, so we need to know all about it. So make sure you click the link in this episode description and come over to Patreon to get all the bonus uncensored content.